Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappy here, back again with Haikyuu Season 4. We are on episode 18, and in the last episode, we switched from the Karasuno Inarizaki match to Nekoma to see how they're getting on. And they are facing Sarakawa Tech, which is a very similar team to theirs in their style of play. They play this sort of more defensive style of game, and because of that, it is forcing them into a situation that is definitely an interesting one where they're trying to wear out Kenma in particularly, because he's the one that is, you know, is generally more tired than the rest, and he doesn't like sort of overexert himself. So they're basically just trying to, you know, make him work harder for longer to wear him out. And I talked about in the last episode about how I feel like they're not going to be able to wear him out, and I feel like by the time they figure it out, it's going to be too late for them, and Nekoma are going to steal the victory from right under their noses, because they said it's alright even if they take the first set. They're basing it on the fact that they're going to actually tire them out and then beat them in the second and third set accumulatively. So I mean, Nekoma's just not going to lose, because for the sake of the story that would be bullshit. So you know what I mean? And even though the Sarakawa are technically, like, you know, they're known as the monkeys, I should back them, but sorry boys, I mean, you don't have a lot of backstory going on, so I don't know if you're going to get any, you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, it's like the party team, you know what I mean? Joe Zenji, like that team. No, that team, that's a team. But yeah, I mean, it's unknown right now whether Sarakawa will be getting that kind of you know, that kind of exposition. But, you know, we'll see. We don't know yet. But, yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about anyway. We're going to get straight in episode 18. As always, the reaction will be here on YouTube. But if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I will re-upload this as a discussion-only video. And the link to the reaction will be in the description below. And as always, the link to the full length will be in the description below as well. So if you want to watch my full length reaction to this episode and not just the cut 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, not that's what we talk about. So we're going to get into episode 18, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Interesting. I thought this scene in the last episode, they were at the end of the first set. I must have been wrong then. Trap. Nice.
今のはまさにサルカワのブロックが相葉君を警戒していたからこそレフトの福永君が生きてきたという形でしょうね。
セッターって基本的に2番目にボール触るポジションだからさ。セッター以外ならサーブで狙うとかってのは上等手段だ。
It's hard to do it against a setter. It's a good point that I didn't talk about. Is that by applying pressure somehow to the setter? Oh, it's a fucking nice. Kenma really going for it. Fucking hell, they might actually take the second set. Did he just trip over his own? Ah, fucks.
たとえ単調な1点の繰り返しに見えていても、それは着実に積み重なっているもんだ。1本のシャットより5本のワンタッチ、強大な相手と対峙した時の試合全体の流れを考えなくちゃなんねえよ。
Well, it's working right now.
大丈夫かよ。もうダサい。手溶けた。
必死の見た目はダセえもんだろ。
You can have a dump in his spirits.
噂をすれば。
Who's this?
よし。
We've never seen that setter before. I'm guessing he's another setter, but we've never seen him before, right?
今が押し切る時。
He's going for a... Oh, it's an interesting one. Yeah, they're looking at the gaps. One, like, placing it where requires the opponents for the most running. That was a great set. Beautiful set.
向こうもだいぶこっちに慣れてきている。でも完璧じゃない。焦るなよ。緩く前へ落とすサーブ。しかしネコマ、少しレシーブが流れてしまったか。
こっちだよ。
Oh, did he put it there on purpose? He's dragging him away! Oh god! That's awesome.
気づいた。じゃあ、ライトに。
Wow!
サルカワのブロックもちょっと
That's such a smart play.
小爪君は一見非常に目立たないセッターです。
Nice.
パッと秘策みたいなの思いついて全然疲れずに勝てたりしないかな。
相手の根気と忍耐の策を破るにはこちらも同じだけの粘りがいるだろうな。
おうよ、過保護上等。セッターを動かせねえのが猫間品質だ。
ただの我慢比べはつまんないな。
He doesn't say that as a fun game.
2回じゃないよ。有効なタイミングの時にね。毎回エンドラインまで走ってあげろって言われたら嫌だけど、それにみんなの方が大変だよ。
It's similar to that visions, like the visions that he has when he's running, where he sees things as a game. It's like he's making things more fun, even though it's harder on him, more taxing, you know. He'll be able to last longer if he's got something to strike, you know, if he's actually feeling something in the game. Great. He made it look like he fucked it up as well.
リエフのセンター線を警戒してるだろうから、そんで俺のことを潰す作戦で来てるわけで、だからこそ信じる。そして
Their defense makes their offense great, you know. It's like
反対側の使い時。
たまたまかもだろ。一本を意識しすぎんな。
they think it wasn't planned, so he can probably do it again.
まさか序盤から
They're in doubt.
控えセッターが呼ばれたのに交代の気配がない。まさかこっちの油断を誘う。
Little things like that, so great.
でもやっぱり
I love that they're playing mind games even from the bench.
間違ってないよ。
He's a great coach.
お前たちのプレッシャーはちゃんと効いてるし、猫間のセッターは絶対バテてる。
もし猫間が意図的にレシーブの乱れを入れ込んでたなら、コズメを潰す作戦と気づいて、さらにコズメへの負荷の追い打ちをかけてるってこと。
I feel like Nekoma will win it in this set.
ナイスレシーブ。
I really like this OST. It's like a mixture of heavy guitar
時
and
間をかけて研磨を潰すという策。
little light piano.
でも俺たちは猫間なので
Kuro, you're so cool.
慣れてみせるよ。
みんなが慣れてきて。
Yeah, they have to win because Kenma's not going to last the third set.
って流れ。さっきまでは順調だったのに。しつこい。
God, he's getting pissed off. Whoa, dude! That was so well animated, that right there. It looked like it hit the floor, it was that close.
一歩も譲らず。
God!
コートの緊迫が実況席まで伝わってくるようです。
重力なんでこの世にあんの？重力ムカつく。重力がなければボールは落ちてこないし。
I love that he's getting pissed and a bit animated.
研磨集中。そろそろ限界が近い。
Is the players at mind games again, or what?
根性なしは根性について語るな。
根性。漠然と嫌っていた言葉。
Is he gonna actually go
近
for some
頃世
guts
間
here?
でも煙たがられがちであろうその言葉は。
Everyone can have guts.
でも最近思う。
Everyone does have guts.
根性って響きを好む
Literally
人
and
も
metaphorically.
嫌う人も。根性って多分最終奥義。
Guts can fight itself in different forms, so it doesn't have to be just.
使えない必殺技。
Guts can be just keep going, you know?
半歩早くボールへとたどり着け。疲労は確実に蓄積
Yeah,
し
it's
ているは
always
ず。
fine margins.
しかしプレーはどこまでも丁寧。
サイドからの攻撃ちゃんと全部警戒してる。そんな時はシンプルに速い真ん中。
Look at that form!
ここでブレーク。
Okay, this it.
みんなは根性の使い手だから。
確かにおめえは踏ん張り効かねえし、サボる方法とかすぐ考え出す。
But the fact that he keeps going, that's guts.
だいたい最後までやる。
Exactly. He's fucking face.
福永は器用だし、ブロックがいてもうまいこと決めてくれるよね。
じゃあさ、お前の学校強い？
みんなだから。
That extra step. They're all like, what?
小モーションからのセットアップ。
Perfect.
おう。
Oh, nice. It was perfect. It wasn't too low that time.
決まった。
Nakama wins.
長いデュース。
I thought it was going to
猫間高校。
Yamamoto at that point, but no.
ナイストス。サロンパス。
Very good. Very, very good. It's alright, monkeys. Next time.
守りの猫間昔よりというか僕が思っていたよりずっと好戦的でした。
お前たちも強かった。猿川工業。
Nice to get that from your former mentor.
まさか自分がもっと追い込まれる作戦出してくるとはな。
Well, it was the last move, wasn't it?
根性を見せたな研磨よ。
違うよ。俺は根性が使えるレベルじゃない。
He thinks guts are more than what they are.
なんだろう。みんな頑張ってレシーブ上げてるから俺もちゃんとしないとみたいな。っていうか頑張ることに明確な名前つけないとダメなの。俺が頑張ったら変。
何切れてんだよ。
糖分が不足してるんだな。
It's great seeing him, like, actually have some emotion, you know?
俺がやったらおかしいの。
He sounds like Hinata there, doesn't he?
これで研磨がゲームやってる時の半分くらいでいいからバレーにアグレッシブになってくれたらな。
レベル上げはしてきたよ。
Yep.
やるからには強いボスとやりたいじゃ
Oh,
ん。
I'm sure I'll be coming. Woo! You come to watch.
アグレッシブになる相手が一人いたな。
That'll be a hell of a game. I can't wait for that.
おいカラスの来たぞ。
Oh, fucking hell. They're on the same side, so they won't be in the final together, but probably semi-final, right?
来たぞ。
Okay, episode 18. Trap. Very, very cool. I'm glad that we're getting that alongside. You know, getting like actual perspective from Nekoma and getting some time with them, because it's felt like, you know, the true rivalry is Karasuno and Nekoma, right? I mean, I know that, you know, they have that sort of rivalry to a different level with, you know, Datako and Seijo and whatnot, but, you know, this is the true one, like the one that encompasses, like, you know, most of the story, because it was seeded so long ago in terms of, you know, all the way back in season 1. But not just that, if you want to take it from like the time inside of the actual show, that it's a rivalry that actually is, you know, has been there for a long time, you know, to the actual characters and the team. So, you know, having this sort of thing where you're rooting for both teams, right, is going to make that match so, like, I can't wait for that match. I really can't. It's gonna be so good. And the thing is, they're in the same side as well of the bracket, which means that they won't play the final together against each other. It will be the semi-final, because Nekoma at the top, Karasuno in the bottom, so it'll be the semi-final to whoever they go face off against in the final, which is, I mean, who's it going to be? I mean, I need to find actually the names, because there's two which it could be. I don't think it's going to be the one with Hoshiomi, right? I think it's probably going to be the top team in the country, right? The one that has one of the top 3 aces. They've got like the green, yellow, and white sort of kit. You know, I probably imagine it'll be them in the final. But yeah, that match is going to, the semi-final with Nekoma. That's got to be it, right? That has to be it. So yeah, a great way to wrap up that sort of 2 episode match that they had against Sarakawa. And I actually enjoyed the way that it ended up wrapping up, and this idea that, because, you know, I thought at the end of last episode that what would happen is that Kenma would be able to just push, like, I mean, he did, but I thought it would have went a different way. They did end up winning it in 2 sets, so at least I was right about that. But it didn't go the way that I expected, and at the end of the day, it actually worked the opposite way around, where Kenma actually took some note of, like, you know, Yamamoto and the guts thing, which is that even though it was the final pass, right, it was like an all or nothing pass, that he decided, this is the one that I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna go for it. He takes that extra step, and passes it off to Fukunaga, which I was surprised about. I thought it was going to Yamamoto, you know. I thought that it would have been interesting, because obviously that relationship with Kenma and Yamamoto, but also that only a couple episodes ago, Tanaka basically, you know, winning the set for Karasuno. I mean, Tanaka and Yamamoto have this sort of, you know, that bromance thing across the teams, right? So I thought it would have made, you know, sense in every regard. But I guess it was set up earlier on in this episode, Fukunaga basically saying, you know, he pulled out a great spike, even though he said that it was a bit low, you know, but that one wasn't, not the last one. The last gutsy move, and Kenma pulls it out. But I mean, it's obviously the perfect time to do it, because no one's expecting it. Even his own teammates weren't expecting that. So, you know, it was something that just came out of nowhere. But yeah, I loved that last move, especially like Fukunaga being like, oh, like just the realization of, like, that's in the perfect spot. It's just, oh god, he is funny, that Fukunaga. I mean, I'm never one for puns, so the ones in the last episode where, you know what I mean, it's just like, puns are a bit, I don't know, they're hitty-missy. If you make fun of them, like, if you make fun of the pun when you're saying it, then that makes sense, you know what I mean? Because it's like, in your head, you know that it's stupid humor. It's dumb. You know what I mean? So if you over-accentuate the pun, that's what I find funny about it, as opposed to the actual just pun itself. You know, so those ones didn't get me, but he was funny in this episode. I mean, it's just the little things, isn't it? So yeah, I like the whole thing of, you know, a lot of guts to pressure a team or pressure somebody that long over the course of it, you know, and this idea that, like, you know, they both play the same way, they're both the teams, but when, you know, the Nekoma coach, you know, he's talking about how it's not about getting it done quick, you know what I mean? It's like, we take the time, apply the pressure, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that they soak up pressure and then apply it back, because they take their time. Like, you see in other sports where that happens, it happens in a lot of sport, actually, because it throws the opponents off. Mainly is the idea. It's like, because they take their time so much, it's like all that anticipation builds and builds and builds, and it's like, fuck, eventually they're gonna release that pressure, you know what I mean? It's like when you're watching a horror movie and, like, you're just waiting for the jump scare to come out, right? It's like that, the building of that anticipation. It throws people into it. It becomes a more sort of mental game at the end of the day, you know. And I love the fact of, like, just the little things in this where, you know, they brought out the reserve setter just to throw off the opposing team, not even to put them on. So the tactics go again, like, not even on the court. They're using it off it to try and, you know, playing mind games with the opponent, just bringing him out, thinking that all right, well, you know, Kenma must be too tired now. There's no way he's gonna, you know what I mean? And then he just, the reserve setter never comes on. You know what I mean? It's just those things that get into the head of the opponents to throw them off. They start questioning everything, and eventually it all, you know, falls apart. So really, really, really cool. So yeah, like, this thing of, like, you know, Kenma still, whilst his energy is draining, right, and physically he's becoming weaker and weaker as the time goes on. The one thing it doesn't is his mind. I mean, it did sort of dwindle towards the end when Kuro was talking about how, you know, concentrate, you know what I mean? It's like, you're starting to, he's getting frustrated at, like, the fact that he's starting to get tired, and he's blaming gravity and whatnot. Which is funny, but even with his body in tatters, he's able to come up with smart moves and smart, you know, little adjustments that again throw the other team off. This idea that, oh, make it look like you fucked up the pass, when in reality they did it on purpose so that they could pull blockers out of the way. And when they actually managed to figure it out quick, on a dime, he turned it back on them again and threw it into a back set over to the right, as opposed to going to the left, where, you know what I mean, which was an incredible move, because what it did was it almost became like a certain point at that, you know, something that is insane. Like when you can make a play that is guaranteed to get you a point, like that is smooth. That's really, really smart. Pushing them out to a certain distance towards the right of the court meant that if they stopped because they were going to the left, fine, I'll just put it right then. You know what I mean? And because like that's the thing, is the fine margins in order to pull something like that off. It's the quickness of it. You know what I mean? You've only got a split fucking second to figure this shit out. You know, and you've really got to be in the game to pull that off. And that's the thing, like even with that physical drain on Kenma, he's still able to pull like that kind of stuff out. You know, and it's great because then you get, you know, in these past two episodes, you've gotten that character development and relationship between Kenma and Yamamoto, where they both learn about each other's playstyle and how it works and helps the team as a whole. So yeah, really, really well done. Really, really good storytelling. So yeah, the Sarakawa, basically they said at one point like they are a powerhouse. So it was one of those things that like they were acknowledging the fact that like they are the underdogs in it. The powerhouse thing was a word that they used back in season 1. I'm sure they'll probably use it in season 2 as well. But this idea, like, you know, like that there are certain teams that are considered powerhouses, and Sarakawa is not one of them. You know, so they were the underdog regardless. You know, but yeah, I mean, even then at the end, the Nekama coach telling his former student that they were worthy opponents, even if they, you know, took both sets away from them. You know, Sarakawa didn't win a single set, but it is that sort of risk you take to play that kind of strategy. But it's admirable to even consider going that route, even if it was like the only legitimate like strategy that Sarakawa could have come up with to possibly get something from the game. You know, you see that a lot in like in sports, where certain teams will, it's basically like, well, fucking hell, like you don't see that team winning, so they'll apply a strategy that gives them the best opportunity. And even, you know, it might not win them the game, but it's that like sort of that 5% chance that they might nick it. You know what I mean? Like they might actually get something from it. And a lot of teams, like, you know, like lower teams playing against powerhouses or you know, higher ranked teams, whatever the case may be, you do see that. So, you know, it's cool just seeing all the things in the show are all applicable, like to real life. Like it all crosses over so well, and I think that's what's so good about the show, is that it just mirrors real life sport so well. So yeah, I really love the show. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. Kenma sounds so much like Hinata when he's angry. You know, there's like this. Their voices trail, right? Kenma's doesn't, because when, like, well, not a lot. It does when he's angry, right? It trails almost in a similar inflection in the voice. Like the tone almost is exactly the same on that trail when he's angry to when Hinata's talk. Like, you know, when Hinata with Hinata's voice, and it's crazy because them two are the, you know, it's like them two are like the main characters of these two teams. You know what I mean? So, and like having them like be such like, you know, good friends and everything. It's just interesting that like that's a thing. So yeah, really good to get the perspective on the Nekoma game these past 2 episodes, and you know, I can't wait to get back into the Karasuno and Arizaki match. I mean, what are we on? 19. There is 25 episodes, I believe. 25 episodes. Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. I don't know if for this entire match they're going with that, you know, we're going to see like pretty much every point like they did with the first set. Because depending on what they do, that could mean anything with the amount of episodes we have left. Is to like, how do I determine who wins the next set? You know, I feel like because the Narizaki are that good, they are considered like, they're like the second best team, right? They're considered the second best team in the tournament. I think it's going to a third set. I think it's definitely going to a third set. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access, $5 a month. I did talk about in the last episode about how I'm going to see about recording some more Haikyuu tomorrow, and if I do, it'll be 2 episodes again, and I'll possibly be getting them uploaded and put on the early access so you can get it a week early. So if it does go up on the early access, it will be tomorrow. Okay, so you know, you can go have a look. If it's not there, then you know, we'll just wait. But yeah, that's the early access. There's the full-length tier as well if you want to watch any of my reactions in full, and not just the cut 10-minute versions. And then there's the exclusive tier, which gives you access to full-length movie reactions and everything like that. So if you want to watch my reactions to movies in full, that is the tier for you. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.